Good morning, everybody. Today, I'm going to talk about how to build up your endurance as an Ironman triathlete. So far today, I just started with a quick foam roll. I read a little bit, had some oatmeal, which I still have the bowl with me on the floor here, and I'm getting ready to get on my bike. So, this is one of the biggest questions when talking about like ultra endurance type events. Um, a lot of people just really can't conceptualize working or exercising for a period of sometimes up to 17 hours straight without taking any break. So, like, for perspective, if you were to say you're doing your first Ironman and you got in right at the cutoff, your overall time would be 17 hours. So that's the max that you can end up working out in one of these events, which is a completely mind-boggling number to think about, considering most people are hardly even awake for 17 hours in a day. Like, if you get 8 hours of sleep and you work for 8 hours, that just leaves like another 8 hours of free time spaced out throughout the day. And thinking about spending all your waking hours exercising is extremely daunting for a lot of people. But I won't get into how much of a mental take on one of these events, and we'll just get into the practical advice. So, in reality, you're building up your endurance on your weekend long days. I choose to do them on the weekend. Some people experiment with doing them midweek. I really don't know how, because some of these weekend long days towards the end of Ironman training could total up to about like 6 hours a day and more. But I'll just work you through what I do, and I won't talk about what I do at the peak of training because that might be too intimidating a concept. I'll just talk about what I'm going to do right now and what I'm building up to for this off-season maintenance period where I'm hoping to, keep building my endurance very slowly over time while also focusing on speed. So what's required to build up your endurance is really just at least two of your workouts in the week, a run day and a bike day, should be dedicated pretty much purely to zone 2 endurance building. So, what that means for me on the bike, I'll be building up to my Saturday rides being about 3 hours. 3 hours in zone 2 volume. And that's a reasonable amount of time to not take up your whole day and also make efficient gains in your biking. Um, During training, like when I actually switch over to um, full Ironman training, what we tack on at the end of that bike on the Saturday would be a short run up to like, you know, 2 to 5 miles really. And that'll bring up your Saturday volume to approximately 4 hours. Now, that's huge. Like if you're doing what's called a brick, where you do two disciplines back to back, you're significantly impacting your endurance and you'll notice it week to week. Like I remember the first time that I ever ran off a bike, which is, another way of saying like I biked first and then I went for a run, and my legs were absolute jello. Fast forward to, where I was at my peak in training this past block, I would go out for a 6 hour bike ride, which, for me at my training pace or training zone 2 pace, that would take me to around 80 miles and then hit a 3 mile or so run after that. And my legs would be like, I'd be overall tired. Like, you feel the general system fatigue, but my legs would be fine to get moving on that run. And that's how stark of a difference like this can be just doing this one session week to week. Um, Now I'll caveat that with the Saturday session will typically be the long bike day or a long brick day, brick being the bike and then the run. And then Sunday is a long run, which, if any of you have ever done any distance running, you already know the importance of, but just to dig into it a little bit here. Realistically, if you're just a runner and you're just trying to increase your endurance running, you can make insane gains just by doing one long day a week, which I prefer to do on a Sunday, and then two other runs throughout the week. So right now, my two other runs are typically like a Monday and a Thursday because I'm working the bike in. But so just 3 days a week, and honestly, you can get yourself marathon ready, especially if that's all you're doing and you don't have to worry about recovering from the other disciplines. So I really couldn't overestimate the benefit of doing, each of these single long days per week. And, on a completely different note, this allows Ironman training to be much more manageable for, say, a working professional. Like, I have my own full-time job, and, aim to build up my own business on the side, which takes a lot of reading, a lot of studying, a lot of work. And I can still fit in my Ironman training because my weekly workouts, or the workouts that are done throughout the week, don't tend to be more than, say, an hour and a half. Like, the longest workout on a weekday would be like a bike workout. And I think at the peak of my training in my last training block, those days maxed out at an hour and a half. So completely manageable. Same thing with the run. I don't think I ever ran for more than an hour and a half on a weekday either. So, being able to dedicate an hour and a half on a weekday on top of work and everything, super manageable. And then, allowing yourself or building out some time to do long, slow sessions on the weekend, and that's how you're really going to see your endurance start to take off. Now, I hate that I have to throw so many caveats in here. Endurance takes a long time to build, so don't get frustrated that you'll be working on it for quite a while, and it's gonna build at its own pace. Like, your body is your body. You can't rush the process. Just enjoy the ride as much as you can, and keep putting in the work, because you put in the work week after week after week, and suddenly 8 months later, like, you'll be a completely different person. So don't underestimate the power of consistency and the power of just putting in the work, and don't try to force any adaptations sooner than your body's ready for it. Like, that's probably the best advice I can say, and hopefully you listen. It's I think human nature to want to overreach your limits, and maybe you can do short spurts of that, but the real results are going to be in the consistent effort in following your plan as prescribed. So good luck, and hopefully this helps.